Welcome back to my channel. I'm Muriel, just as told by Muriel. Thank you to all my new subscribers. They are trickling in. I am now at 507. I'm trying to hit 1,000. Hopefully by the end of the year. Trying to be more consistent to help me reach that goal. If you are new here, I'm Muriel. I'm a registered nurse, BSN RN. I love long-term care. Prior to becoming a registered nurse, I was an LPN for 18 years, y'all. And prior to that, I was a CNA as well. I don't want to leave that out because I was a CNA for about 1.5 years. If you are new to this channel, you're just coming by it, please hit that subscribe button. Y'all, I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to be more consistent because they say consistency is key. So I'm going to see how this goes. Trying to hit my 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm currently at 507. Today's video is a video request from one of my subscribers, Nurse Reece. Hey, how you doing? Nurse Reece is going to be working her first night shift in a long-term care. I saw your video where you said it's been a year, or either it was a short where it's been a year since you got your nursing license. So if you can do a video about how things have changed in your life since getting your nursing license, I think that'll be a good video for those who are looking to go into the career. It can kind of guide them into what they have to look forward to. But she asked me to do a video on night shift duties in a long-term care facility. And thank you for the video suggestion. So that's this video. I'm going to list the night shift duties in a long-term care for a nurse. Currently, I'm on my way picking up a late call shift. Facility needs someone until 3 o'clock. I'm only going to work 6 hours. I'll be leaving at 3. I won't get there until a little after 9. But, you know, every dollar helps, so y'all know I'm trying to save. I've been doing good with that, y'all, too, putting aside money every week. Anywho, back on the topic of, oh, excuse that sound, that was my windshield wipers. Back on the topic of night shift duties for nurse and long-term care. So my suggestion to anyone who is going into a facility for the first time is to get there a little early. Get there a little early so that you can kind of get a good report. Like, the nurses won't be rushing too much through things, and they'll take a little more time to explain things to you if you get there 15 to 20 minutes prior to your shift instead of getting there right on time. Because if you just get there right at 7 and you're asking for a real detailed report, which they are not known for doing in long-term care, the nurses will get a little perturbed because they'll be like, oh, I'm going to be here to 7:30 giving this long drawn-out report. But if you get there like 6:45, you're giving yourself a little bit of leeway if they know more, because to be honest, there's so many agency nurses going into facilities for the first time. They may not know any more than you do. But this will also help because you can pull out their treatment book and you can go through the list of your residents and see what treatments you have to do, so you'll know what wounds patients have. You can go ahead and write it beside their name in your on your notes, so you'll know what treatments you have to do. Y'all see those 2 nurses who are being charged, I believe, with negligence or something for not doing treatments on their patients for a span of like 48 hours? Yeah, y'all, that happens a lot. I'm surprised they actually got nurses for that. But I said in videos before, I've come in facilities where I would put a dressing on a patient that Saturday, and when I come back, say that following Thursday, the same dressing I put on is still on them. So I suggest grabbing the treatment book, looking through that, writing down whatever treatments, and you don't have to write the full thing out. Like, you could just write, say, like, if they have a sacral area that gets, say, you get cleansed with Dakin's solution, packed with Dakin soap gauze, and covered with a dry dressing, then you could just write for short next to their room number, their name. You could put sacral, Dakin's packed gauze, dry dressing. That's all you have to write. You don't have to write the long drawn out thing, because that right there will tell you where the area is, what gets applied to it. And you can write that down on your thing so that you're not having to carry that big. I don't carry the treatment book with me when I go down the hall doing the treatments. I have all my little things on my piece of paper, so I know what dressing or whatever each patient gets. Say someone just gets skin prep to heels, I just put SK/heels. That's what I write on my on my paper. So go ahead and get a list of your treatments. Go ahead and get that done. Look over your MAR, because what you can do is you can look over your MAR real quick. If it's a paper MAR, if it's electronic MAR, you can do the same. I suggest if it's paper MAR, just doing a quick run through, looking over, so you can see what you have to give. If you're doing a 12-hour shift, it'll be a little bit more difficult because you'll have those 9 p.m., 10 p.m. meds to give. That's a lot to look over. But if you're doing 11 to 7, you really don't give a lot of midnight meds unless you are working, unless you have a lot of tube feeders. A lot of tube feeders are on the 6-12 schedule. But what you can do is just look over the MAR real quick, just to see what you may have to encounter. Just do that real quick. Another night shift duty is checking refrigerator temps. There are medication refrigerators, there are food refrigerators, and there are lab refrigerators. Night shift normally has to check the temperatures on the refrigerators, make sure the temperatures are within a certain range. If a temperature is not within a certain range, you have to let maintenance know that something is going on with this refrigerator, that the temp is out without a certain range. Make sure when you're checking the temp that the door has been closed, because I have gone to check temperatures on refrigerators, but the doors were left open, so of course the temperature is not going to be within range. So make sure the doors are closed first before. Why is this car stopped? Make sure the doors have been closed before you check the range. Because normally there's a sheet of paper on the refrigerator with the month and the date, so you can put the temp. For that date, and you can put your initials. Another night shift duties is glucometer checks. Glucometers, which are the blood sugar machines, get checked normally on night shift to make sure that they're calibrated correctly. There's a solution you use to check the glucometer. You use the solution, you use the glucometer strips, and the actual glucometer. There will be lot numbers and expiration dates that you have to write down in this book. They should have a glucometer meter book, and you just do glucometer checks to make sure that the numbers are within the high and low range that's indicated on the glucometer strips. Another night shift duty normally, and a lot of places they want you to do 24-hour chart checks. Now, places that have electronic MARs, some normally don't do 24-hour chart checks, only because orders are put into the computer, and when they're put into the computer, they're automatically transferred over to the MAR. Now, there are some facilities, the facility I work, they still use paper MARs, paper charts, and so we have to go through the paper charts at night for any orders that were written within the last 24 hours to make sure they were transcribed onto the medication MAR. And we also put them on a 24-hour sheet so that in the morning meeting the next day, when they're doing their meeting, they can see the new medications that have occurred. They can see whatever went on as far as acute changes or whatever with the patient. Another thing that's a night shift duty is, of course, medication pass. You're in charge of giving the medications to our patients that are scheduled for you. My suggestion, once you, I'll say in Reese's case, I think she said she's doing 11 to 7. So once she gets her 12 o'clocks done, she can actually sit down. And what I do is I go ahead and look through my MAR to see what 6 a.m.s are due, because I like to know who needs to get a blood sugar before I actually have to do it. Because if someone has a blood sugar due at 6:30 a.m., I normally start my blood sugars at 5. Like if they're due at 6:30, I'm starting at 5 or 5:30 checking them. Because for me, if I have a lot of 6 a.m. meds, like mainly 6 a.m.s, y'all are giving Prilosec and Synthroids. If y'all know, y'all know. Y'all giving Prilosec and Synthroids, and y'all checking blood sugars. Every now and then, tube feeders may have a bulk of their medication on 6 a.m. You may have nebulizer treatments. I just like to go ahead and know ahead of time who I need to do this for. For my tube feeders, normally night shift is the ones who do the dressing changes to the G-tube sites for tube feeders. That normally falls on night shift. They also change out the piston syringes, the tubes, the syringes for the tube feeders. You change that out. Some facilities have a required time for changing out all tube feeding bags, so nobody's bag is hanging more than 12 hours, because that has happened several times. It is so disgusting to go into a facility and somebody's tube feeding has coddled in the thing because it's been hanging for 48 hours because they run at a slow rate like 35. or someone had somebody who's running at 50 on hold for so long that now instead of it being hung for 24 hours, we're running into the hour 30, or and it's just coduled, and you know how milk coduled in a plastic thing or whatever you call the jug once it's gone bad. That's what that tube feeding stuff could do too. So a lot of facilities require that the tube feeding is changed out on night shift as well. So that may be a night shift duty in some facilities. The night shift duty is body audits. Some facilities put body audits all on night shift. Some facilities put body audits split throughout the shift. But you need to find out who your body audits is, because the best way that I found to do body audits is to catch the tech while they're in the room changing the patient. That way we're not disturbing the patient twice throughout the night. So when they're doing their incontinent care on the patient, I'm looking at their bottom. I'm going ahead and looking at their feeding up. If I don't get that patient to do their body audit when I first originally come, like when at the beginning of my shift, now say somebody's in 11, you come in 11 to 7, I necessarily will do their body audit whenever the tech comes in, whenever the tech does their first round with them, to go ahead and get it out of the way. But if you happen to miss them on their first round, catch them on their next round, do that body audit, go ahead and get it out of the way. When I come in at 7 p, I normally catch my body audits before midnight. If I'm not able to catch it before midnight, I do it in the morning when I'm doing my round. A lot of patients are incontinent, so it's harder to catch them because I want to catch them while they're going to the bathroom or whatever. And a lot of them, they're fine with you looking over their skin because they want you to catch wounds. They don't want no wounds. They don't want no pressure ulcers. They want you to catch those. Some patients are resistant to all types of care. They may give you a hard time, but I've rarely had a patient who wouldn't let me look over their skin. And of course, another night shift duty is checking on your patients, doing your rounds, making sure they're breathing. A night shift, you don't really want to be disturbing the patients. You want them to get their sleep, because a lot of them get up like 5 in the morning and go to bed 7, 8 o'clock at night. But I just go in, I make a round, I make sure they're breathing, I make sure they're still alive in those rooms, I go in, I try to do alternating times with my techs. I like to go every 2 hours. Hopefully, I'm hoping that the tech is going on that off hour and that I'm not going, so they're laying their eyes on them. So the patient is getting their eye, somebody is watching the patient at least every hour. I like to go every 2 hours, and those hours do fly by fast, y'all. So you can just come in and do your meds. Say you get finished, you coming in at 7, you're finishing your meds at 10 o'clock. You just laid your eyes on everybody one time. Well, that patient you saw at 7:30 is now 10 o'clock. So you actually wouldn't want to lay your eyes on it one more time. But I do this by, once I go down giving my meds, I just come back up and I just lay my eyes on the people who I gave meds to in the beginning. Just make sure they're breathing. All I'm looking for is that rise and fall in the chest, y'all. When I go in there, I just look for that rise and fall in their chest. Night shift to me is much easier than day shift. Some people say it's not, but it's much easier than day shift to me. And basically all I'm looking is to get the person to the next morning, make sure they're alive and well, and kicking for them for day shift. Trying to think that I forget anything. Another night shift duty. What would be another night? I believe that's all of the night shift duties. I hope this helped you, Reece. If y'all can think of any more night shift duties, I said refrigerator, glucometer check, body audits, 24-hour chart checks. Some facilities require you to go through the med cart to look for medication that's running low, expired medications. And cleaning the cart, and making sure things have dates on them. A lot of facilities require that of the night shift nurse, because you honestly have more downtime and during the night to do those things than the day shift nurses. So yeah, doing cart checks, checking for expired meds, checking for meds that are running low that may need to be ordered from pharmacy, making sure expired insulins, expired eye drops, and things like that are off of the cart. So that's another night shift duty. Okay, y'all, I made this to my destination. If y'all have anything to add down below for Reece, please do. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.